Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Manor Lords in our settlement of, I guess it's Ruthless. I didn't really name this one. We could rename it, but I'm not going to worry about it. So, I'm starting another recording session, and fun fact, weirdly enough, by reloading the game, the whole Raiders notification in the bottom left is gone. So I no longer have any idea how long we have until the Raiders are going to hit us. I am assuming it's somewhere around 60 days. That's what I seem to remember in my head, so I'm going to assume that that is the case, and we did not just bug the most challenging version of the game by reloading and then canceling the Raiders. That'd be hilarious, but I don't think that's how it works. Anyway, we survived our first winter, we managed to get our approval up to a decent enough amount, and our population is growing up to 10 families, so we have doubled in size within 1 year. And I'm also engaging in trade, mostly by selling excess iron, in order to start getting some pole arms. That means we almost have enough weapons to get a retinue, at least half a retinue, you start with this at the manor, plus about 20 or so of my peasant men with some sort of a weapon so we can fight off the raiders when they do eventually come. And honestly, I think that's going to be enough troops. From what I understand, talking to some other content creators who have attempted this, I think you only get one raiding party that comes by. It could have been worse. If it were 2 or 3, I think I'd be dead. But with only 1, should be alright. So the question is, do I want to spend money also getting, let's say, some armor to greatly increase the survivability of my people? It'd be nice. It kind of depends. Oh, wait, hey, there it is! Down the bottom left, Raiders are near, it came back, hooray! Okay, so actually, yeah, I was about right. 62 days remaining. Hey, that's a good memory, Pravus, well done. Now, I am having some other problems, so for example, right now, we've only got one food source going around, and that's berries. It's not a great position for me to be in. I'd like to have different kinds of food, but we've overhunted a lot of the animals, so it's not an option. If I had more wealth, one thing I would consider doing is adding some expansions. Chickens and vegetables are not bad. I actually kind of prefer the chickens because the vegetables take a bit of time out of the year in order to tend to this, but the larger the plot size is, the more value you get out of the chickens, so it really isn't too bad, not to mention it's a little bit cheaper to set up. And ultimately what you really care about is food diversity, right? It's not going to be just having like lots and lots of vegetables. That only gets you so far. I can have a ton of vegetables and no other food, and I've still only met 1 out of 2 requirements. So you want to have diversity, ultimately you want to go for both, but that means I need a lot more wealth. And it's more important that I get weapons right now, so we're going to have to ignore that. Speaking of wealth, anytime I have extra families sitting around and no idea what to do with them, we send them to the mining pits, because I need to keep getting more of that iron ore. Now, there are some of the things we could do to prepare for the raiders. We could go to the manor, and we could try placing down some towers. Takes a bit of logs and some stone. This would give me garrison space, which I believe we could use to kind of shove a few families in there to start shooting at enemies as they approach. I don't know if this actually comes with its own bows or if I need to supply them. I've never actually used this because it's very difficult to predict exactly where the raiders are going to be coming from. They could appear on our edges of the map, they could appear way out over here in a corner, and if I don't know where they're going to go, right, and these towers have a relatively short range, how useful is that to me really? So I'm choosing not to rely on that. That becomes a very expensive investment for potentially no gain. Policies available. Yeah, we haven't talked about policies. Let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick under, not taxes, it's up over here. There it is. All right, so policies, we've only got a couple in this early access version of the game. These are all works in progress down here, so we really only have these 2. And they're okay. I mean, we could go for strict fasting, which reduces food consumption, but also decreases approval, which at the end of the day, that's kind of why you want the food, is to keep the approval high anyway, right? The other one here is hunting grounds. If we started with a rich deposit of wild animals, and I'm going for a trade build, this is a no-brainer, because I will never, ever do any farming. This is nothing but a pure increase for me. Animals breed twice as fast. If I had a rich deposit, I would click on that in a heartbeat, but we do not. I'm a little concerned by the way that we're overhunting. I've set this to a limit of 10, but I've seen the numbers of animals still going down. We're going to pull the family off of this and let them go do literally anything else for a bit. Actually, if I can finish buying pole arms, I would like to start importing some food. There are a few options as far as food. Eggs appear to be one of the cheapest options. Meat is relatively cheap as well. And at the end of the day, since all I care about is food variety, then going for the cheap option is often going to be the best. I could import bread, but why would I pay that much, right? I could just get twice the amount of eggs for the same amount of money. So that would stretch a lot further and keep people happier, so my approval's nice and high. So I don't recommend importing bread. There does come a point where if you're producing enough eggs and meat on your own, it might be worth either buying bread, or you can just go ahead and buy flour for 3, and then use a family to go ahead and start making the bread, and that would be one option you could do. Realistically, though, remember, every one family that is working on, let's say, the iron mine is getting me 3 value, right, by exporting the iron ore. If I have one family working on flour, I'm only increasing my net value by 1. So there comes a point where you need to be thinking about every single family needs to add the maximum amount of value, and since there is no dynamic pricing in the game, does it make sense to focus on nothing but the maximum value like cobblers or like iron mines and stuff, or is it actually worth, you know, importing flour for relatively cheap and just making your own food that way? I think it ultimately comes down to how much extra labor do you have, right? If you got a lot of extra labor, all right, maybe it's worth it. If you don't, well then, don't worry about it. Gosh dang these bandits, they just came by and stole a whole bunch of stuff. You suck! Let's go ahead and do import and say that I want to have at least 10. All right, so that's 20 there, and then we're going to have another, 32 or so set aside for this. So there we go. Okay, this should be fine. We've got enough wealth to go around. I can import everything that I'm looking for. Though I am having some issues right now with storage. People aren't dropping off firewood and clothing. Hold on. We're going to temporarily pull some people off of the mining pit and just go ahead and assign them. Make sure you're periodically checking your storehouse and your granary so someone is dedicated to dropping resources off of the marketplace. You don't want this, right? If you get to this point, this is where your approval starts to drop significantly. Ideally, at some point, we get to a point where I could just leave families on here and never worry about it again. But we are, unfortunately, not yet at that point. By the way, we have enough food right now, so that's good. We'll keep that going. I thought I just saw us get a bunch more money, so I'm not sure what happened there, but okay. We can open up another trade route here, and I will. Pay to establish, and I'm going to export anything in excess of 20 planks, okay? That is the goal right now, and every log that I get can turn into another 10 wealth. Forestry is a pretty good way of getting sustainable money generation. It really is not bad. Now, for a while, you actually could go for pastures, import some sheep, right? And then we would place down a pasture and just farm out lots of wool. Plus, you could get yourself a point here that would allow the sheep to breed, and it could turn into quote-unquote infinite money. At some point, though, recently, I think the dev announced that they were going to be nerfing that because it was a little bit too strong, which is interesting to me because I feel like there's a lot of other good ways of making money, but admittedly, that was an extremely low labor way of getting a ton of money. Big pasture plus one family equals lots of money. So fair enough, it was a bit too strong. And actually, I've kind of bought everything I'm asking for here. Is it worth trying to get some other stuff? Is it worth trying to get some of these Gambesons? So I want to maintain my population really well, because after we deal with these raiders, the next thing we want to do is actually clear out bandit camps. Because remember, these guys are stealing from me every year. So clearing them out would be very good for us. Survivability would go a long way here. I'm going to establish this trade route. We could have done mail armor, but I'm just going to do the slightly cheaper option, and we're going to start importing until we have about 20 of that as well. Let's see what we can do with this. I've got less than a month before the raiders arrive. If I can get some really well-equipped people, not bad. Let's do it. By the way, I never did explain why it's really important to go for housing plots with these little extensions. The reason that's going to be important is because when you fulfill this burgage plot's needs, right, water, church, food, and so on, I'm impacting 2 families, not only 1. If I had twice as many burgage plots, guess what I would need? Twice as much food, twice as much fuel in the marketplace in order to sustain them. But by doing this, it's slightly more efficient. So I'm getting kind of double the value of happiness for the same amount of supplies. Also, I think that when we eventually start having things like vegetable gardens, 2 families working here, I think increases the potential yield. Or rather, it's less time spent, you know, per family managing this. Ultimately, though, it's less plots as well. So I don't know, there's a bit of a trade-off there, I think. But anyway, that's the idea behind it. That's why I wanted to go for plots that have these housing extensions. All right, I've only got 5 days left before people are going to arrive. Let's go ahead and make sure we set up this polearm militia. And what that should do is say, hey, all the men of the village, go to the storehouse, grab the polearms, the Gambesons, whatever else, and just keep them maintained in your home, so that when I raise you up, you're ready to go ahead and join the fray. So we're going to go ahead and set that up now so that these people go get everything they're able to. They'll get their armor, they'll get everything that's currently sitting in the trade post, at least I hope they do. And in 4 days, the raiders are going to arrive. Okay, they were spawning in Hostetten or wherever it was. Where are you guys? There they are, way up over here. All right. So they're about as far away from me as they can be, and it is only one group of brigands. We should easily be able to handle this. 100% we can deal with this. We're in really good shape. One thing I would like to do, if we can, I'd like to go over to our hitching post, which I guess I left right here, and I'd like to upgrade this to a stable, and then get myself another ox. The reason I want to get another ox, you wouldn't know this, but it's surprising how much one ox is a bottleneck when it comes to dropping off logs. It really does make a difference to have a second one that can be better dedicated to things like the logging camp or the saw pit, or whatever else it's going to be. That way, when you have to do construction projects, not everything comes grinding to a halt. Having a second ox really can make a substantial difference. So now that the stable is built and has slot for 2 animals, I'm going to order another ox. It's cost me 20 wealth. We have to wait for somebody to drop it off, but it's way cheaper to do this right now and build, just buy another ox that way, as opposed to going to trade and getting myself a livestock trading post. This is another good way of getting a lot of animals imported, but like, I only need 1 ox. I'm not worried about sheep right now, just not important, so forget it. So I'm keeping an eye on these raiders. They're getting closer and closer. I think now's not a bad time to go ahead and start marshaling our forces. So let's go to our retinue. We're going to rally them close to the manor. The same thing's going to be true here with the pole arms. Let's rally them, get them close to the manor. So now everybody is going to grab everything they've got and get ready for us. And while they're doing that, let me show you something cool I got. This right here is a very legitimate metal and leather helmet sent to me by Hooded Horse as a part of the campaign for this game, which is obviously awesome. It's just a shame that my head is so freaking big and barely fits. Nonetheless, thank you, Hooded Horse. Very cool. So I'm gonna try to play with this. I bet you can't hear a word I'm saying right now, and this doesn't even line up with my eyes because my head is too big. Well, that's a shame. Dang. Ah, well, it was worth a shot. Still really cool, though, you gotta admit. Anyway, everyone's getting together. We're ready. The brigands should be here in just a bit. They are on their way to me. They're not running at full sprint, and I don't really want to go meet them because then I'll be exhausted. We're going to wait for them to get a bit closer to me, and then we'll take care of them. Probably the retinue in the front, with the pole arms to immediately come around and flank. Gosh dang, the frickin' raiders just went and stole a lot of other stuff. Stop stealing my meat! Alright, here come the brigands. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? I think you're all ready for this. Retinue, go get them! Pole arms, go get them! And now we just watch to see if we are gonna be good and we kill these people, or if we are going to lose men. I'm really hoping not to lose any of my men. I like these guys sitting in the back here. They're like, oh yeah, we'll cheer them on. Go get them, boys! They're not actually contributing at all. This is a coward's game. What are you doing? Anyway, apparently I have the high ground. We can see some bonuses here. I'm fatigued. We don't have the best cohesion, but I have that high ground, which means we're able to slightly fight back more effectively. We've killed off 3 of the bandits. I've lost nothing so far. Let's hope it stays that way. Just gonna speed up. We're just trying to break them. That's all I want to do. I lost a man. Dang it! I was really hoping not to lose anybody in this, but we did lose somebody. All right, we're pushing them back, though. They're almost gone. Come on, break, you fools. Break! Yeah! They're gonna run away. Perfect. All right, apparently we just stopped fighting and we let them go. Nice. All right, we're gonna disband our units for now and let them get back to work. I should probably have somebody go and work in the wooden church for a minute just so we can bury this guy. That'd probably be best. By the way, before we can get up to level 2 plots for our burgages, we do need to upgrade this church. That means more stone, and it also means some roof tiles. I could buy roof tiles. That's not a terrible plan. Honestly, if I had started with a rich clay deposit, I would make roof tiles, though, because they're worth a pretty good amount of money. For not much effort, you mine it and you refine it, boom, I've got more than I know what to do with. By the way, speaking of which, frick me, we've got a lot more planks than I know what to do with. Well, that's pretty cool. By the way, also notice by winning that fight, we gained a fair bit of influence. We had 250 and now we're at 610. So the more fights you take, the more influence you get. The more influence you get, the faster you can claim all these regions. Which is one of the reasons if you're going for a conquest victory where you have to claim everything, fighting actually kind of speeds up the game as long as you don't take any significant losses. By the way, I would like to know why nobody got any armor. Do I not need the armor? Am I wrong on how this works? I'm gonna stop importing it for now since it's costing me a lot of money, and it may not be getting me any value. By the way, we're getting a notice of bodies needing burial. It's not just the people in the hollowed ground. I think, technically speaking, we need to get, like, a body pit or something. Where is that? Under residential? Yeah, there it is. A corpse pit. That sounds a lot better. We'll just go ahead and place this over here. This is where we dump the bodies of raiders that we don't care about and aren't even worth burying. We're going to gather up a bit more stone and to get up to 20 so I can upgrade my church. That is enough. Thank you kindly. That'll do the job. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and get myself a clay pit just so that we are able to build up our own clay tiles. At the end of the day, clay tiles are still pretty good, right? What we can do is we can import the... where is it? The clay. There it is. For only 1 gold, and then we can turn them into tiles and sell them. I'm pretty sure this is literally one of the best value trades we can do with our people, so I'm gonna make it a regular part of my economy, I think. Which means we should go over here to our industry, and we should get a clay furnace and place it over here close to our storehouse. Go to our materials. This will let me import clay. I'll just go ahead and pay to establish this now since we have some money. And actually, since I'm not really buying much except for some food, now's not a bad time to go ahead and spend some money and get some extended plots. So I will get, let's say, a vegetable garden here, and maybe another one here, and another one here. All right, that spends most of my wealth. But now, 6 families will be able to start producing food, which is another food source for me. And remember, when you get to level 2 burgage plots, you need to have 3 different sources of food. So between the meat that I can make and import, the berries, and hopefully the vegetables, that should easily meet that requirement, at least for our current population. Over time, we're gonna need a lot more food than just that. Burning through a lot of our timber, by the way. I gotta be careful about that. If you're looking to figure out quickly, by the way, where all your people are employed, here's a trick. Hold down the tab button, and there we go. We can see a lot of things. I can also see that a lot of my houses apparently are missing stuff. Whoa, the marketplace is not getting enough. Why not? Apparently not the granary and such. Hold on. Stop with the tannery and go ahead and employ someone here. Yeah, I don't know why my marketplace is suddenly not holding on to enough goods. But we need people over here because this is giving me a quick little look and saying, hey, look, you're not meeting all your needs. Quickly, get some people in there to work the marketplace. Anyway, it's helpful to see I've got 1 family employed over here at the logging camp. I've got 2 families employed to get me some clay, 2 getting iron, stuff like that, right? It's a very helpful little tool. Yeah, here come the families working the vegetable plots. This is the downside, man. It does take a while for them to get these things ready. Still, if it results in a lot of extra food, it ends up being worthwhile. Okay, we have our 10 roof tiles. Let's go ahead and upgrade our church. Okay, and then as long as we can get enough food from things like vegetables and trade and whatever else, I think that there's a couple things we need next. We need an upgraded source of clothing. That means I'm going to need to have enough people to work things at the tannery pretty consistently, so I have a lot of leather, and I want to start turning that into shoes. That is the cheapest and easiest thing that I can do right now that's going to get me shoes that I can sell at the marketplace. Then we need to make sure we have consistently at least 3 different types of food. Again, we'll take care of that. And then the real killer, ale at a tavern. Yeah, for that, we can either import some barley and then convert that into some malt. So 2 value becomes 4, and then the malt gets turned into a bunch of ale at a house, an artisan, and that's going to be worth 8. So at least 2 families to convert 2 value into 8, and then we just start consuming it at the tavern. But that's the only way to make people happy. Then you need a 3rd person working the said tavern. So yeah, it's a lot of labor required. So I'm going to need at least, I think, 2 more families just to make sure I feel good on the clothing side of things, plus another 3 to feel like I've got the tavern taken care of. So once I'm up to about 18 families, I think that's when we are ready to start upgrading to level 2, and we should be good to go. We could just buy the ale and the shoes outright. I mean, that would also be an option. Clothing is technically cheaper. So, like, those are options. If I was making an absolute ton of money, I think I would consider that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and place down the tavern. We'll have this set up over there. I'm running low on timber, so there's not a lot we can do there. But I want to at least have that in place so that we are ready to start constructing this. We just won't do anything with it for a bit. Okay, that's all the ingredients we need at the church. We should now be converting this into a proper stone church. So that's going to meet some of the tier 2 needs. Also, we get a little bit more influence as a result. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Apparently, a lot of my people are transporting pole arms around. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but all right. Something I didn't show, by the way, in the introductory video to Manor Lords. Did you know You can engage in like a little third-person view of your city, right? It doesn't have to be just like this with the camera, which by itself does look pretty good. What if I click on visit mode right here? There we go. Hey, I can look around in first person. I mean, it's prone to some bugs, so you got to be a little bit careful about that. You can literally fall through the ground and stuff like that. But hey, you know, as far as like being able to see your village, this looks pretty good. Oh, raiders have been spotted. Where? Where do we see raiders? Where did you go? Hello? Oh, they're like right here. Holy crap, they spawned like right in our territory. Right. Hold the phone. All right, I need you guys to all rally over here, please. This time I'm a little bit stronger than I was before, so I'm hopeful that we'll do even better than before. All right, I've lost sight of them. They went into the tree line. Wait. Oh, wait. I think I found them. There they are. Hello. Hello, brigands. How are you? Oh, you think that you're about to find this defenseless little village, but you are wrong. All right, they're gonna come to me, and then they're gonna smash themselves up against my retinue, and we are going to run in there and try to deal with them. Now, I wish that I could kind of get these guys to spread out and flank a lot more, because I feel like they'd be a lot better than doing this whole, like, one-on-one combat we've got right now. And the main problem I have with polearms, actually, is that they're not the most defensible things. This is where I prefer to have the spearmen. Spearmen are pretty good, right? They got the long range, plus they got some shields, so their survivability is not half bad. Alas, though, that is not a thing that I've got. One thing we could consider doing is trying to get ourselves a missile unit, archer militias. The reason I don't usually go for the archers is I don't really like them. They don't kill enemies very rapidly when they get the first few volleys off, and then once your units are engaged, unless you specifically tell them to like go ahead and fire at will and ignore the potential of friendly fire, they don't do anything. So they just sort of sit here, and you could have had some shieldmen up there doing more damage, and that might have been even better. Oh, now these guys are running in for the flank. Hello. There we go. We lost absolutely nothing, and we dealt with all of them. Perfect. All right, tell you what. Next thing we do, we start dealing with some of the bandits. I need to start walking over here. All right, now a weird thing is, as soon as you arrive in a region, I think the bandits immediately leave their camp to come and attack you. So they're on their way over here already, and we're just going to wait for them for a little bit while we try to regain a little bit of my energy, because I am very fatigued at the moment, and this is really going to slow me down. Gosh dang it, now they're also stealing stuff. I was hoping to kill them before they could get another round off on me, but all right, sure, whatever. All right, we'll just go ahead and start pushing. We are dealing with them, and they're already gone. Perfect. The next thing to do, come over here and clear out the bandit camp. Notice we got a lot of influence for doing that, by the way. I'm now up to 1.5 thousand influence. Which actually, I think means that we could go over here and claim a region. Yeah, we absolutely could do that. Well, I mean, wild animals plus a rich clay deposit. Both of those are really solid together. This is a very good region for me. I think we go ahead and claim it. Do it. I can't do anything with it for a while, so don't get too excited. If we want to actually set up some villages over there, I need like 500 wealth. Technically less than that, but 500 is a good amount. So until I raise up taxes, it's gonna be a while. Hey, did I just see some more bandits spawn over here? Excuse me, where did you guys come from? Hello? Well, let's hopefully kill them off before they have a chance of doing anything. And there we go. All right. You know what? I think they didn't actually die. I think they retreated back here and somehow got reinforced. I don't know. Somehow they got reinforcements. Anyway, message. Spoils of war. We can send resources, mainly I believe it's going to be regional wealth, to your nearby town, or we could send it to my treasury. I'm going to send it to my treasury. That was 116. Not bad. Guess what that is? That's a few more men at arms. We're going to do that again. I'm going to go and find these brigands, and we're going to deal with them. Is this bandit camp not actually gone? It's still here. Was there a second one stacked on this somehow? Did that bug? That'd be weird. Let's see if we can clear this out again. We can. I think there might have been a second one. Weird. All right, no, it's my treasury. Go ahead and take the money. Yay, another 159. Oh, the bandits are on their way over here, whether I like it or not. Okay, tell you what, can we find a position of high ground? Is that an option? We're gonna try to ring around the rosy these guys a little bit, and then turn around and hopefully we can deal with them and we get a slight advantage. Maybe not. Hopefully we just don't lose anybody. That's all I really care about. We are slaughtering them. We lost one person. Dang. All right, fine. Go and clear out their camp, though. Get rid of them. There we go. Another message for me, and that also goes to my treasury. I've got 474 gold. Yeah. All right, let's get back into my territory. And we can go ahead and disband units as long as they're in regions that I now control. So I'm waiting for these guys, then we can send them back home. I'd say only one loss for what we were able to accomplish. Not half bad. Let's go to my retinue, and we want to customize, and I want to recruit some more men-at-arms. Boop, boop, bada, bada, boop, boop, boop. There we go. We're now up to full 12 retinue. We can increase that further if I go to the manor and say that I want to build up a garrison tower. For that, I need more timber, and I need some more stone. But we can arrange that. Let's go ahead and go to the malt house over here, and I'm going to go to the trading post, and we're going to start importing some barley. Now, I feel like the trade strategy is kind of a necessity in this game because of barley specifically. Your people consume so much ale. It's kind of ludicrous. And I don't know if you've noticed, but when you play this game, if you want to grow your own barley, good freaking luck. There's only ever a couple of regions in the entirety of the map that have any real fertility. And also, in my opinion, farms are kind of weak in this game. They're not great. I mean, you can get the heavy plow and the fertilization, and that helps a lot. Rye cultivation's great for food. But besides that, barley is always going to be hard to grow enough of to keep up with everybody. So at some point, the trade strategy really is just that much better than anything else, and you might as well do it. I also feel like in general, my families just aren't doing a great job of transporting things around. Like, I'm sitting on all these roof tiles, for example. Why are you guys not just, you know, selling the roof tiles? They're worth a heck of a lot more wealth than the planks are. I've got 40 sitting here. Go pick the dang things up. What's wrong with you? One thing we could do is actually upgrade our storehouse to make it large. We're not really at our cap yet, but, I mean, a bigger one could help maybe a little bit. I don't know. Okay, we are up to 18 families now. So maybe now's an okay time to start getting my upgrades and such. Do I want the tavern now? If I had somebody working over here, what I need is one family dedicated just to brewing ale now. All right, tell you what. In the interest of time, let's go ahead and get that upgraded to level 2. Same thing over here. 2 level 2 houses. We're finally getting back up to that point. There's no one currently living here, which could become a problem. But hopefully somebody moves in soon. Get the brewery. And at this house, we will get the cobbler's workshop. Take leather, make shoes. Unfortunately, you can't reassign families to a brewery here, which actually makes me think that I need to demolish this house just to force them to move into the house that I want them to so that they can work in the brewery. There we go. All right, so now someone's going to start making some beer, which means it's going to get sent to the tavern, which means my approval's about to jump. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. The tavern supply is met. Okay, so all I'm lacking now is a family to work in the cobbler's shop and start making the shoes that I'm asking for, which will be fine because I am currently importing enough hides to make a ton of leather so that we'll be able to make shoes. And then we'll go to the trade post, and I'll probably go over here to commodities, buy a route for shoes, and say if we get to a point where I have more than, let's say, 20 shoes, start selling them. And if I can start making enough of these things, that'll be enough money to keep buying hides to make more shoes, and the more family as I pour into this, the more profitable it becomes. This is the power of the trade build. Now that we are committed, let's just go ahead and get some stinking level 2 burgage plots. That will passively start generating some regional wealth, and I need that. Also, we can go ahead and start taxing people now. Well, do I want more approval? I'll wait until I get my cobbler shop filled in, but then we want to go ahead and start taxing people again. Another family moving in. Boom! Now we have a cobbler. Okay, so that's good. That means we're about to start meeting our second clothing need, which means we're now at a point where all tier 2 houses are going to have their needs met. No reason now not to just go ahead and upgrade everything to level 2. And we did this without creating a death spiral of approval. Yes! This is how you're supposed to play the challenging difficulty, guys. And honestly, from here on out, I think it's going to be not exactly a cakewalk, but kind of close. I mean, really, the economy is building up pretty nicely. We've dealt with the first round of raids. I've claimed another territory that I could theoretically take pretty soon. I can clear out more of these bandit camps for some money to make sure that they aren't stealing anything, and I will be doing that in the next video. But otherwise, we're in really good shape, folks. So I'll end this video here, but thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and you've been finding this helpful in some way. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.